6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Press, are you good? Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good? All right. Thank you.
Halt.
There's no audio right now.
Yeah, there's a...
Oh, did you hear something now?
Hey everyone, I'm aware of the president's tweet just now.
Which is what?
Camera 9.
Joe, you have audio going in there?
Not right now, no.
No, the malt is quiet.
The malt is quiet, that's what you have to
Let me know.
Yeah, so once they open up the mold, you're good.
Yes.
Okay? Yep, you got it. Right.
What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, this is Jim in the Rose Garden. Hello, hello.
Because there's one person entering it.
Is there IFB guys? We don't have
You guys see
a box in the cable and IFB?
it's the RoboCam 536 camera 9 from the White House. We're having issues with our computer here, so
We're getting it set up, Jim.
Plug this in IFB.
You have your IFB, right?
I just have my earpiece.
Okay.
you don't have access to that. Yeah, it's Rose Garden Cam. Okay, I mean, okay, very good.
Hi, Karen, I do have you. Sure, that sounds fine. We're trying to set up, official IFB, but it's a scramble.
He's got it here. He's got his, yeah. As long as he has the gray cord. I don't know if he has the cord.
And need the gray cable and button too. Hey guys, I have IFB now.
On the
Is that okay, Jim?
It's a little tangled there, but
It's fine, don't worry about that.
it works.
Albert. Talking about how his tank was full on the cable.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, it's not it. As long as it gets to them.
You see the knot right there?
Jim, a little bit this way. Yep, you used it.
Yeah, I do hear you, yeah. You sound great.
Joe, what's your right?
6'8". 6'8".
And 2C? And
6'8". What are you?
6? 7'2".
7'2". 7'4", so we'll be close. We'll be there.
Come here, not
My boom.
Okay, great.
I got you now, yeah, you sound good.
it's group 6 camera 9.
Yeah, exactly, 6:30, that's right.
No,
Yeah.
37.
Yeah, we're ready to go. You guys.
Hey, Joe. I have the wireless if you need a backup, okay?
Okay.
asking if you can pan left, Cliff. I am Wolf. We just scrambled to gather for this Rose Garden News Conference. May just be a statement from the president coming up at 6:30, and in just a few moments from now, he tweeted that this is going to be happening at 6:30, and we expect these remarks to be brief. We'll see if he takes questions. Obviously, we've seen some pretty stunning sights over here at the White House over the last hour or so. We saw about 8 military vehicles, large military vehicles, rumble through the White House complex, carrying U.S. troops over to Pennsylvania Avenue to help bolster some of the protective forces that are in place for tonight's potential unrest. One of the things that we know that the president may talk about, because the press secretary talked about this earlier today, Kayleigh McEnany told reporters that the president is considering, or it's being considered inside the White House, the use of the 1807 Insurrection Act, which allows the president, allows the U.S. government to deploy U.S. military troops to help quell a disturbance. Now, obviously, this is a very old law. There are going to be a lot of legal experts who are going to argue over whether or not this is appropriate, but the sight of U.S. military forces rolling through the White House complex in a situation like this is just highly irregular and is obviously going to cause a lot of concern for people around the country and I guess around the world. As the United States is looked upon as a beacon of democracy, it isn't every day. It's very rare to see military vehicles rolling through the White House complex. And we also saw the Attorney General Bill Barr outside the White House inspecting the situation going on in Lafayette Park. There have been discussions inside the administration about deploying multiple agencies, sending their protective units over to Lafayette Park to make sure this place does not get out of control. As we saw last night, fires were set at multiple places around the White House, inside St. John's Episcopal Church, the historic church that's been worshipped at by every president since James Madison. There were other installations around the White House, including the AFL-CIO that had its lobby torched briefly before that fire was brought under control. And so the president is stepping into the situation to potentially, we think, to deliver a message of order. He hasn't been in much of a mood for issuing the words of God. He didn't do that on the phone today with the nation's governors, and he was accusing them of being weak and saying that they need to dominate the streets, asking these governors why they aren't using National Guard troops and so on. And so he has been kind of laying down this marker that he's ready to get tough. At one point, tweeting earlier this afternoon, a tweet from Arkansas Republican Senator Tom Cotton about the use of the 101st Airborne Division of the U.S. Army, potentially using the Army to quell the unrest here in Washington and around the country. So just a ramped up rhetoric that we just have never really seen before in my lifetime, haven't seen in generations in this country. And I suppose the question is whether or not any of this works for the president. I will tell you, Wolf, there's been debate. My colleagues and I in the CNN White House team have been reporting on this all day long. There's been debate inside the president's team of advisors as to whether or not he should talk about any of this, because there's the potential he could make matters worse. We saw last week when he tweeted about looters being shot. That obviously helped inflame the situation. There's just no way around that. And the potential is there once again, Wolf, for the president to walk out into the Rose Garden of the White House after U.S. military vehicles just rolled through this complex and inflame things further. And that's what we're going to be watching for in a few moments. That's right. Governor Pritzker from Illinois was telling the president on this conference call that your rhetoric is not helping the situation, it's hurting the situation, and that the president should be displaying a style of leadership that brings calm to the country. And the president responded to that by saying, I don't like your rhetoric either, and you didn't do very well dealing with the coronavirus. And so he's in a very feisty, combative
But I have to, by the way, I can say it's exclusive. Nobody else can. There was nobody shooting. Yeah, you could see them walk, but they walked the perimeter all the way up to the barricade with the protesters. And at some point you could see the protesters looking right at them. It's a tiny shot with that from far away, but you could see them.
No time to grab this, right? Gotta hurry up. Yeah, I'll do that, but there's no seats set up for them, so I'm not sure that we're necessarily going to see them. I can tell you that they're getting the prompter loaded right now, but I don't know that that necessarily means anything. That's very possible. Oh, did he? Okay.
Do they want to do another hit or?
Yeah. He's still back.
Hi, Carrie. Yes.
They're coming in next. We're right here.
The other way. They're giving me directions. Is he gonna do it like a We can hear the explosions. We sure can, yes. We are standing in the Rose Garden right now waiting for the president to come out and address the nation. And as he is about to address the nation, we can hear the explosions from Lafayette Park. They are very clearly audible, and so we are now seeing the potential for the president to be addressing the nation as these explosions are going off at the same time. I mean, that is just an absolutely unbelievable prospect. But that's what we're facing here at this very moment. We can hear those flashbangs coming in, as we've been hearing over the last couple of days, breaking out right now. Now, we do expect the president to deliver a law and order focused address. The teleprompters are set up, and so we'll be seeing, as it's described from time to time, teleprompter Trump. That potentially means he won't be taking any questions, but as you know, expect the unexpected with the president. He may deliver these remarks and then decide to take questions. But my sense of it is, Wolf, is that he's going to be explaining why we saw those military vehicles transporting those troops over to the park to try to help quell this disturbance. Now, obviously, the question is going to be asked, and we'll try to ask the question as he walks out of here if he doesn't take any questions. You know, where is the message of calm? Where is the message of trying to calm things down around this country? Because obviously you can send in the cavalry, you can send in all of these military forces. That doesn't necessarily make the protesters go away unless you want to really crack some skulls out there. And those are images that this White House has to realize comes with a massive political risk. But getting That's right, Wolf, and we just heard 3 more explosions, and I can tell you, Wolf, when that tear gas is fired out on the street near the White House, you can smell it down the block. It is not something that you just have to be in that same vicinity in order to experience that, and I think it does beg the question, why is the president delivering this address to the nation in the Rose Garden, where clearly we're going to hear these explosions, and there is the potential that you could have tear gas inside the White House, East Room, or the Oval Office, or even in the White House briefing room. To do it out here in the Rose Garden, I think there is an element of risk to it. I would love to say that that's not the case. That's certainly the case. let me know if you see some kind of message that they're following us off.
Sorry. Jim, 2-minute warning.
Let her know.
There are 2-minute warnings.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much. My fellow Americans, my first and highest duty as president is to defend our great country and the American people. I swore an oath to uphold the laws of our nation, and that is exactly what I will do. All Americans were rightly sickened and revolted by the brutal death of George Floyd. My administration is fully committed that for George and his family, justice will be served. He will not have died in vain. But we cannot allow the righteous cries and peaceful protesters to be drowned out by an angry mob. The biggest victims of the rioting are peace-loving citizens in our poorest communities. And as their president, I will fight to keep them safe. I will fight to protect you. I am your president of law and order and an ally of all peaceful protesters. But in recent days, our nation has been gripped by professional anarchists, violent mobs, arsonists, looters, criminals, rioters, Antifa, and others. A number of state and local governments have failed to take necessary action to safeguard their residents. Innocent people have been savagely beaten, like the young man in Dallas, Texas, who was left dying on the street, or the woman in upstate New York viciously attacked by dangerous thugs. Small business owners have seen their dreams utterly destroyed. New York's finest have been hit in the face with bricks. Brave nurses who have battled the virus are afraid to leave their homes. A police precinct has been overrun. Here in the nation's capital, the Lincoln Memorial and the World War II Memorial have been vandalized. One of our most historic churches was set ablaze. A federal officer in California, an African-American enforcement hero, was shot and killed. These are not acts of peaceful protest. These are acts of domestic terror. The destruction of innocent life and the spilling of innocent blood is an offense to humanity and a crime against God. America needs creation, not destruction, cooperation, not contempt, security, not anarchy, healing, not hatred, justice, not chaos. This is our mission, and we will succeed. 100%, we will succeed. Our country always wins. That is why I am taking immediate presidential action to stop the violence and restore security and safety in America. I am mobilizing all available federal resources, civilian and military, to stop the rioting and looting, to end the destruction and arson, and to protect the rights of law-abiding Americans, including your Second Amendment rights. Therefore, the following measures are going into effect immediately. First, we are ending the riots and lawlessness that has spread throughout our country. We will end it now. Today, I have strongly recommended to every governor to deploy the National Guard in sufficient numbers that we dominate the streets. Mayors and governors must establish an overwhelming law enforcement presence until the violence has been quelled. If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them. I am also taking swift and decisive action to protect our great capital, Washington, D.C. What happened in this city last night was a total disgrace. As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property. We are putting everybody on warning. Our 7 o'clock curfew will be strictly enforced. Those who threaten innocent life and property will be arrested, detained, and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I want the organizers of this terror to be on notice that you will face severe criminal penalties and lengthy sentences in jail. This includes Antifa and others who are leading instigators of this violence. One law and order, and that is what it is. One law. We have one beautiful law. And once that is restored and fully restored, we will help you, we will help your business, and we will help your family. America is founded upon the rule of law. It is the foundation of our prosperity, our freedom, and our very way of life. But where there is no law, there is no opportunity. Where there is no justice, there is no liberty. Where there is no safety, there is no future. We must never give in to anger or hatred. If malice or violence reigns, then none of us is free. I take these actions today with firm resolve and with a true and passionate love for our country. By far, our greatest days lie ahead. Thank you very much. And now I'm going to pay my respects to a very, very special place. Thank you very much.
No, I know.
Yeah, if y'all can go into the briefing room as quickly as possible, please.
They're trying to as quickly as possible.